Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've dug through a ton of research today, really focusing on, how these big corporate players are turning AI hype into actual financial results quarter after quarter.
That's the plan.
We're going to dive into SAP's Q3 2025 results. We want to figure out exactly how their latest strategy is redirecting huge amounts of enterprise spending, like right now.
Exactly. We're looking at SAP's financials, their business outlook, trying to understand the real impact of this apps, data, and AI unification they talk about.
Right.
The mission today is really to get past the buzzwords, find those surprising efficiency gains customers are actually seeing, the stuff that's driving real financial momentum for SAP.
And honestly, the top line summary alone is pretty impressive, especially when you think about the constant pressure on IT budgets everywhere.
Well, what's really fascinating is just the speed and maybe the quality of the growth in their main business. SAP showed strong total cloud revenue growth, 27% year over year at constant currencies. But then you zero in on the real core, their cloud ERP suite revenue. That grew even faster, hit 31% constant currency.
Wow, 31%.
Yeah, that tells you the deepest integration, the core stuff, that's where the biggest demand is right now.
That acceleration, that's the real tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests customers aren't just like tacking on little extras. They're really
Yeah.
transforming core business processes with SAP.
Absolutely. And this transformation, it really solidifies their predictable revenue stream, their share of that predictable revenues, stable subscription support, not those unpredictable one-off licenses. It's now sitting very comfortably at 87%.
Building a fortress, like you said.
Pretty much a recurring revenue fortress.
Okay, so let's unpack those core Q3 numbers a bit more, because they definitely show a clear strategic shift happening. Like their old school software license revenue
Oh, yeah.
dropped sharply, down 43%.
Mm-hmm.
So that really confirms the business model change is speeding up, just like they wanted.
Totally. The overall numbers just scream high-speed transition. Cloud revenue hit, $5.29 billion, up 27% constant currency. That key cloud ERP suite revenue was almost $4.6 billion, up that amazing 31%. And critically, their pipeline visibility, the current cloud backlog, CCB jumped 27% too. That's $18.84 billion.
Billions with a B. Future contracted revenue.
Exactly.
Billions.
Strong growth then. But here's the bit that caught my eye, the sort of paradox. Their non-IFRS operating profit also jumped, up 19% constant currency to $2.57 billion. Wait a sec. Usually these huge transitions, heavy investment, they crush profits, right? Why are margins expanding so fast?
See, that margin expansion, it links directly to their strategic clarity. And that term non-IFRS operating profit is key here. It pulls out certain one-time costs like restructuring M&A stuff.
Right. Gives a cleaner operational view.
Exactly. And that cleaner view, that efficiency, it ties straight into what CEO Christian Klein calls their no gigafactories strategy.
The no gigafactories. That's a huge decision holding back on that kind of capital spending. Why is avoiding the whole infrastructure game so important for their P&L right now? Well, it's kind of the difference between being, say, the power company versus being the smart device using the power. Historically, big tech built its own data centers, massive cost, control performance, sure.
Yeah.
But SAP is explicitly saying, nope, we're not pouring billions into building and running physical cloud infrastructure. They partner with hyperscalers, AWS, for example, for that global reach.
Okay.
And that cuts down CapEx hugely, speeds up deployment, keeps margins healthier. It lets them focus all their firepower on the software, the apps, the intelligence layer.
So their winning formula isn't about owning the physical boxes or the fiber.
Yeah.
It's about controlling what runs on them. That vertical unification, apps, data, AI. The apps generate the good structured business data.
Crucial. High-quality data.
And that trusted data, when you mix it with powerful AI models, that's what delivers the value businesses can't get elsewhere.
That's the whole idea in a nutshell. Look, if your data is a mess, siloed all over the place, the best large language model on Earth is basically useless for enterprise tasks. SAP's value comes from having clean, harmonized data already flowing through processes that run the business.
Right. Mission critical stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of AI, that brings us nicely to how they're actually rolling out these capabilities. I thought it was really interesting that they're actively telling customers not to just focus on the sheer number of AI agents they're deploying. Seems like the conversation's moved on from just counting bots.
Yeah, and that raises a really important question, right? What's the actual measure of success for AI in the enterprise? For SAP, it's definitely not just counting agents. It's about orchestrating that intelligence across the entire business process end to end.
Okay.
They're looking at optimizing the whole value chain, procurement, production, payroll, you name it.
Which is why they introduced these AI assistants.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're more than just simple bots running tasks. They're positioned as team leads, supporting specific people.
Think about the complexity involved. An AI assistant might support, say, a human supply chain planner. That's a specific high-value job. That assistant then coordinates maybe dozens, maybe hundreds of underlying technical agents doing specific things.
Like what?
Checking inventory, rerouting shipments, predicting when a machine might fail, all happening seamlessly in the background. The research mentioned a specific example, an AI assistant for supply chain helping a planner cut asset downtime, boosting that planner's productivity by up to 40%.
40%. Okay, that is not a rounding error. That's like giving that planner back almost 2 days every single week.
Exactly.
If you're sitting in the C-suite, you hear that kind of measurable ROI. Honestly, the price tag almost becomes secondary.
That's precisely it. It's immediate, it's measurable, it hits the bottom line. And that's why the C-suite is now driving these deals, not just IT.
Now, here's where the strategy feels really bold, particularly on the data side. I mean, for an enterprise software giant, your proprietary data is like the crown jewels, right? Yet SAP seems to be actively opening up its ecosystem. How does that work?
They are, but very strategically. Take their Joule AI Copilot. Thanks to a partnership they announced with Perplexity, Joule is getting smarter in Q4. It won't just work with the structured SAP data inside the system. It'll also be able to tap into vast amounts of non-SAP data. Think the broader internet, other external sources. This means it can give much richer answers to really complex business questions.
Okay, so instead of being a closed box, they become more like a trusted gateway, bringing external smarts to bear on the company's internal, sensitive data.
And crucially, they're also making it easier to share that high-quality SAP business context outward, but without breaking security or governance rules. They're using something called the SAP Business Data Cloud Connect.
Okay.
And a key concept there is the zero-copy service.
Zero-copy service. Sounds super technical. Why should our listeners care about that?
Yeah.
What's the business point?
Okay, think about it. If you're a big company, moving or copying massive amounts of sensitive corporate data around which you often need to do for deep AI analysis, it's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it's risky.
Right. Data breaches, compliance nightmares.
Exactly. Zero copy means instead of physically moving the data, SAP securely shares a live link or a reference to that information. The heavy-duty analysis can happen elsewhere, maybe on partner platforms like Databricks or Google BigQuery, using their powerful tools.
Ah, I see.
But the original, clean, governed data stays safely inside SAP's structure. You maintain data quality, you keep the business context, and you get to leverage powerful external AI, like Google's Gemini models.
That's actually quite clever.
Yeah.
So they partner for the heavy compute lifting, but they keep ultimate control over their most valuable asset, that clean, contextualized business data.
Precisely. It effectively turns their data assets into a kind of secure API for the wider AI world.
Okay, let's talk real-world impact because these aren't just theories on a slide deck. We've got actual customer data points here.
Yeah, the adoption of SAP Business AI is really taking off, and the savings are pretty transformative across different areas, too. Take Johnson Controls, they're saving 3,000 hours a year just by automating routine IT system monitoring with an IT agent.
3,000 hours. That's basically a full-time employee, maybe more, just freed up through automation.
It's a huge operational win. And look at customer service. Bosch is saving 2,500 hours per service center per year just by using a services agent.
Wow.
Or procurement efficiency. JK Cement in India, they cut the time for complex purchasing processes by 50%. 50%. Using a sourcing agent, that directly speeds things up and impacts cost of goods sold.
That's hitting the core operations.
And what's powerful about the strategy is how this AI is embedding deep into specific industries. Wärtsilä, big manufacturing firm, they're putting AI right into their critical spare part quoting process.
Okay.
Leads to much higher accuracy, less friction, better experience for customers needing complex technical parts.
Makes sense. Or agriculture CHS, enabling their traders to create complex commodity contracts just using natural language, talking to the Joule Copilot. The estimated efficiency gain there is in the tens of thousands of dollars per trader.
Per trader. That's direct P&L improvement, not some fuzzy, soft metric. Real dollars.
And that direct bottom line impact, that's what's changing their sales pipeline speed, right?
Absolutely. The CEO specifically mentioned that these big multi-year transformation contracts, they call them RISE deals, ones originally planned for 2026, they're being pulled forward into Q4 this year.
Pulled forward. Why?
Because customers want the benefits of SAP Business AI now. They don't want to wait.
So AI isn't just a nice-to-have feature anymore. It's actually the main reason companies are accelerating these massive, complex transformation deals.
It seems that way. And the conversation has definitely shifted upstairs.
Hmm.
Over 90% of their deals now involve serious talks with the C-suite. And what are they talking about? Cost optimization, efficiency gains driven by AI.
And that C-level focus on value? That must reduce the usual haggling over price, right?
It certainly helps. Customers seem willing to pay a premium for these really sophisticated, efficiency-boosting capabilities because the ROI is so clear, so fast, so quantifiable. It lets SAP maintain, price protection.
So what does all this momentum, both outside with customers and inside the company, mean for their official outlook going forward?
Well, the updated outlook is nuanced, but definitely confident. SAP expects total revenue growth to keep accelerating through 2027, mainly pushed by AI. They did tweak the total cloud revenue outlook slightly towards the lower end of the range, maybe 21.6 to 21.9 billion constant currency, perhaps a little bit of macro caution baked in there.
Okay, a bit cautious on the top line. But the key is the profit guidance, isn't it?
Absolutely. While being maybe a touch careful on total revenue, the efficiency story is just so strong. The non-IFRS operating profit outlook.
Move toward the upper end of its range, 10.3 to 10.6 billion.
Higher profits, despite slightly moderated revenue growth expectation. Yeah, they're clearly very confident in maximizing profitability, squeezing out efficiencies. They even nudged up their free cash flow guidance a bit to 8.0, 8.2 billion.
And that focus on efficiency, on operational leverage, you can see it inside SAP too, right? Are they actually using their own AI tools to run the company better?
They are, and this is a great little anecdote showing they believe their own story. The internal adoption of Joule for Developer, that's their AI coding assistant for their own engineers, saw a massive 300% jump in usage just in the last 3 months.
Wow, 300%.
Yeah.
So it's not just a demo tool.
Not at all. It signals a strategic shift in how they approach R&D staffing.
How does a 300% usage increase translate into R&D savings, though?
Well, it changes the focus. Instead of just hiring masses of engineers, they're focusing more on the quality and specialization of their people, recruiting PhDs, working with top places like MIT, and then using AI tools like advanced code generation to basically supercharge the productivity of that top talent.
Amplifying the best people.
Exactly. Leveraging intelligence to drive R&D efficiency, getting high output, potentially with fewer overall engineering hours spent on the more routine coding tasks.
Okay, let's try and bring this all together then. Synthesize this deep dive. It feels like the enterprise software race going forward. It's less about who owns the giant data centers, the gigafactories,
Right.
and much more about who can deliver that harmonized, trusted business data, plus the intelligent agent orchestration that genuinely moves the needle on C-level P&L metrics, profit and loss.
That really is the whole story here. That apps, data, and AI formula, it only works if the foundation, the data, is solid. Like they said, an AI agent cannot do magic if the underlying data structure is not harmonized.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Pretty much. Data quality, business context, the structure that the enterprise apps provide, those are the crown jewels. And SAP knows it. They won't give that up, even while they partner cleverly for processing power using things like that zero-copy service.
Yeah, that distinction seems critical for every company listening. The difference between intelligence from clean contextualized data versus just insights from, vast swamps of big data.
It's fundamental.
So, final thought then. If AI-driven productivity can already accelerate huge multi-year transformation deals and demonstrably cut thousands of operational hours right now, you really have to ask yourself, is there any core business process, procurement, HR, manufacturing, sales, whatever, that won't be fundamentally rewritten for massive optimization in the next, say, 5 years?
It really feels like it's moving beyond just optimizing the margins. It's potentially a total replatforming of how enterprises actually work day to day.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We'll see you next time.